Hello everyone! So in this video we're going to cover the basics of animating in the Voxel Object Editor. So if you're following along, the previous video was part 1 of the Voxel Object Editor, which covers basic mode, and you can see here that we're still in basic mode, which is all you'll need for animating, but the menu for animation, which is here at the bottom, is the same in both basic and advanced mode, so it's easy to follow as long as you followed part 1. But as you can see here, I have a few things laid out for us to animate so that I can demo some of these things that we have here. But to get us started, let's just add a frame with this little plus mark down here at the bottom left. And you can see that now this bar here has turned blue. That little dot that you now see where the blue dot is on the left, blue dot is on the right, that is your current position in the timeline. So every time you add a frame, you'll see more of these little dash marks appear, and these are all just frames of the animation in your timeline, and where you are currently is always going to be marked by that little blue dot in it. Let's go back to frame 1 and show you how that works. I have the mirror mode on here if that helps. The mirror does work while you are animating. Going to, on frame 2, give a nice little happy blink, and on frame 3, let's just grab that little white color, go back in, and start widening the eyes back up. I'm just using the paintbrush to do this, by the way, and so you can see. And he's got a little blinking animation. Maybe his eyes are still a little wide there. Okay. And that's a nice little blink, but I think it's happening a bit too evenly. So I'm going to go over here to frame duration, and everything in our animation is currently happening at 200 milliseconds per frame, and you can change that from frame to frame. So not every frame has to last 200 milliseconds before going to the next frame here. So the first thing I'm going to do is probably speed up all of the frames, and I'm going to take that, I'm going to lower it to 150, and I'm going to apply this duration to all frames. So now all 3 of our frames are going to be happening just a little bit faster. And that just makes that happen a little bit more smoothly. It looks a little bit more smooth. But I don't think anyone blinks that fast that frequently. So let's just, while we're on frame 1, where the eyes are open, and let's consider that a resting position for our eyes, I'm just going to put 500 or something much, much longer. Actually, let's go like 1,000. And I'm just going to press enter. And now frame 1 lasts for 1,000 milliseconds before it goes to frame 2 and 3, which only last 150. And let's see how that plays out. That's a little bit better. Now he has a nice little blink there. So I'm just going to remove our extra frames here. There's our resting frame there. Okay. Oop. And let's set this back to 200. Now we're back at our starting position with only one animation frame on the timeline. And the next thing I wanted to show here is the onion skinning, which is a relatively new feature we've gotten. And I'm just going to grab my red color, add a little bit here, or I should probably turn the mirror off for this. I'm going to add a little bit to the right and remove a little bit from the left and go back here. And I'm going to turn on onion skinning. And now a whole bunch of things just happened here. Everything just changed color. Our color, our active color, is the red. And what's happening is when it's showing the frames in front or the frames behind. That's what onion skinning is. It's just showing you a hint of what's happening ahead by highlighting the things that are happening ahead with green, and it's highlighting the things that happened before or in the previous frame with blue. So you can see things are turning bluer as they go farther back, and the more you have here in these boxes, the further ahead and the further behind you can see. So you can see that where this frame has a little bit of red that's pure, this only exists in this frame. It does not exist in frame 1. Things that exist between frame 1 and frame 2, this shared space right here, and things that exist in frame 1 but don't exist in frame 2 are, you can see, this much darker colored. And the same is vice versa, basically, when I go backwards. So I'm going to do this 1 or 2 more times. I'm going to add, and I'm going to remove. I'm going to add, remove, and 1 more frame here. Add and remove. So now you can see that highlighted bar is following along. And I can just show you what it looks like with only forward frames being shown, which are the green highlighted frames. So you can see it's showing you what's about to happen, what's happening, and continues to happen in the next frame, and what is only happening in this frame. And you can reverse that. Now I'm just going to remove all the frames happening in front and add a layer of onion skin happening to the back so we can see what's happening behind us. Same thing, but vice versa. And let's go ahead and increase that number even so we can see even further. You can see how that gets a little bit more faint, but it continues. If I go a frame forward and I add another bit of onion skinning, you can see that it's just showing us 1 more frame of content, but a little bit fainter and a little bit fainter as it goes on. And if this ever becomes too distracting, of course, you can always just click here to turn it back off. And the last little thing that I want to show that's happening down here in the animation frame is moving the position of the current frame. Move back to just 1 frame here. Say I add a frame, and I'm going to add a whole lot to our red. I'm going to add again another frame, and this one I'm going to add just a little. Let's remove again from here. You can see this nice consistent animation where it starts, it adds to, and then there's a little follow-up where it removes from. And from frame 2, I'm going to add again. And if I want to, say, loop this animation so that it plays forward and then plays backward. So I'm trying to fill the bar. I'm going to move it to the right, and then I'm going to move it back. So I have this nice in-between frame, but to get the same content, I've added that, and now I have 2 frames of the same, but I really want this frame, this one that I've just created, to be on the opposite side of this one. And if I really wanted to, I could go from here, add a frame, and just redraw that. But that can get very complicated very quickly if you're, say, animating a face or something more complex than just, a simple red bar. So I can go over here to move current frame to the right. So all it's doing is it's taking this frame and putting it on the other side of that frame. So now we have a looping animation where it is moving left, right, with a little bit of in between here. Very minimally in between. But the same thing can also happen in vice versa. If I wanted to take that tween frame and then move it back to the left, I could click that, and now it is back to 2 long bars just hanging out here in the middle. Thank you for making it to the end of this tutorial. I hope it helps with your animations. Again, if you get stuck, don't hesitate to reach out to us on our Discord. Just search .bigbang.com/discord in your browser. Our devs are there to help and answer any questions you may have. And yeah, have fun animating, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.